Yeah. Okay. Hello, everyone. Good day. Welcome to today's Ally Workshop, Ally Center Workshop. I'm so excited to just lead this workshop and facilitate it. It's an honor to like just support you all in your academic pursuit. So my name is Golden. I know you can just call me Golden all through this session, and that's totally fine. Here I'm a student here at LBC, right? I'm pursuing my master's in my Master's of Divinity, and my concentration is pastoral concentration. And I'm also an adjunct professor here at LBC, and I work with the Ally Center just to support students as they pursue their academic degrees. It's a pleasure again to work with you all today. So as we go on with this session, please note that you can stop me anytime, right? Just to ask questions. You can always do that, right? The workshop is for you, and you can always just, stop me if you have a comment, stop me if you have a question. And if I'm going too fast and you want me to say something again, or you want me to repeat myself, please do
Hi,
that.
excuse me. This is Patricia, and I can't get in on my computer.
Huh. So you might have
I'm
to.
registered.
Wow. What's it telling you to do?
I can't hear you, Golden.
Oh, can you,
I can't find my link.
all right. So if you check your email, I just sent it to your email some 10 minutes ago.
Is it on Outlook?
Yes, on Outlook. Yeah, if you check that, you're gonna find it there.
All right, I'm gonna look because I didn't know if it was on Outlook or if it was on I see registration.
Yes, so that's it. So use that
Golden.
link to join.
All right, I'll try again. Thank you.
You're
Hi,
welcome. Thank you.
Jacqueline.
All right. Hi. Good day.
Hi. Hi. I just made it.
Yes, totally fine. Yeah, it's fine. We're just also starting. Yeah. Yeah, so I was just telling everybody, just introducing myself and just, telling everyone that you could just stop me anytime as we start. Yes, so today we'll be talking about how to make your sentences flow, right?
Okay.
We're talking about how to make your sentences flow, achieving unity and coherence within a paragraph. Like this is one of the basic, I'll say this is one of the, not basic, this is one of the biggest challenges that students face. I'm sure many of you are here because you want to write in a way that your sentences flow,
Yes.
right? And
Yeah.
I've heard so many students use that language, right? You're like, the problem is, they'll say something like, the problem is I just feel like my sentences are not flowing into each other, right? You just feel like your sentences are kind of like confusing in some ways, right? I just want you to know that it's normal, right? Many students actually go through the same issue, so it's normal. And so basically, the best way to say this, right? The best way to say it is that many students are finding it hard to achieve what we call unity and coherence within their paragraph, right? So meaning that the point is that many students don't know how to unify their ideas within one essay. That's like one of the biggest issues. So when students say, I want to make my sentences flow, it means that they are looking forward to achieving unity within their essay. All right. So so let's look at the first thing we should look at here is this. Focus, 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 right? Honestly, this is like the biggest, I would say this should be your watchword all through your academic pursuits, right? Focus, focus, and focus. So like students must understand that academic writing involves focus, right? In order for you to grasp the idea of academic writing, like the overall idea of academic writing involves focus. And then you need to know that your professor does not expect you to write every detail concerning a topic. right? I mean, we have felt that burden before, right? You just feel like a professor wants you to say everything about a topic, right? In just 10 pages or in just 5 pages. Your professor does not expect that. I just want you all to know. Sorry, 1 second. Hi, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. All
Yes,
right.
we can hear.
Yes.
Awesome. So I just want you all to know that your professor, please, can you all mute your microphones,
Yes.
please? Thank you. All right. Thank you. So your professor, I'm sorry, someone's microphone is not mute. Let me just. All right. So your professor does not expect you to write every detail concerning a topic. Your professor in most cases will just expect that you choose an aspect of a topic and then you talk about it. Right? The biggest my popular example I always use is, let's imagine your professor tells you to write about a bicycle. Right? The topic is a bicycle. So the question you want to ask yourself is my professor asking me to write everything concerning a bicycle? The answer is no. Right? Now I'm talking about an academic environment now. All right? In an academic environment, you're in college right now, your professor is not expecting you to write everything concerning a bicycle. Your professor is expecting you to think through particular aspects of a bicycle and write about just that aspect. Right? So for someone like me, if my professor says, Golden, write about a bicycle, conduct a research about a bicycle. What I'm going to do as an academic writer is that I'm going to choose one aspect. I might say, all right, you know what? I just want to write about the history and development of a bicycle over time. I've just chosen one aspect, and that's all I'm going to write about. For some other student, they might say, you know what? I just want to write about how the bicycle moves. For some other student, they might say, I just want to write about the wheels of a bicycle. That's all I want to write about. For some other students, they might say, okay, you know what? I just want to write about the handles of a bicycle, if that's their interest. So my point is that for some of you, right, you don't have to go through all the burdens of writing all the details concerning a topic. When your professor gives you a topic to write about, he's just expecting you to just choose an aspect of that topic. So therefore, your research or essay must entirely focus on a thesis statement, right? Many of you, please, as an academic writer, I think I've said this several times, right? You must know how to construct a thesis statement if you're a college student. It's mandatory. So please, if you don't know how to construct a thesis statement, reach out to the Ally Center and we'll be able to help you out with that. But again, this session is not all about how to create a thesis statement. I basically, even as I'm conducting this session, I'm assuming that all of you participating in this session already know how to construct a thesis statement. I'm assuming that, right? How many of you have heard of a thesis statement? Give me a thumbs up if you've heard of a thesis, just heard of it. Awesome, right? That's good. How many of you can say, that you're confident about creating a thesis statement? Like you can confidently create a thesis statement. That's good. I like that, right? So it means that most of you, right, are ready for this session. And again, please note that in this session, I will not teach you how to construct a thesis statement, but I'll show you how a thesis statement looks, right? So again, one thing is this, your research must always contain a thesis statement. Extremely. It's mandatory, right? It's extremely mandatory that your research contains a thesis statement, because your thesis statement indicates the purpose of your essay, right? So basically, that's where you're telling your audience, this is what I want to talk about. And you're not just telling your audience about what you want to talk about. You're also telling your audience that, all right, there is a general topic, right? But along the line of this topic, I want to discuss just this single aspect of this topic. Remember, the first point states that your professor is not expecting you to discuss every detail concerning a topic. So your thesis statement exposes that particular aspect concerning the topic that you want to write about, right? So that's one thing you should also note, always. So meaning that you must have a thesis statement, and finally, your paragraphs must discuss only one main point. Every paragraph you construct in an essay, or let me say your body paragraphs, right? How many of you know what the body paragraph is? Right? Most of the time, your body paragraph will come either after your introduction paragraph or maybe your background paragraph, right? Your body paragraphs. Most of the time, we would always have multiple body paragraphs, right? The basic number of body paragraphs you should have is 3, right? You should always have, many professors will expect that you have a minimum of 3 body paragraphs in your essay. Right? And each body paragraph must only focus on discussing one point. So now note this. So this is where I'm going to, right? Your essay should contain a thesis statement. Every idea that you discuss in your essay should not go above or below your thesis statement. Like I said earlier, your thesis statement is like a promise. You're making a promise to your audience that this is what I want to talk about. And that's all you should, and that promise, you must fulfill that promise. And it's not just that you must fulfill that promise, you must fulfill only that promise. All right, so you're not going above, let me use this word, you're not overdoing it, right? You're not going above your thesis statement, and you're not going beyond, right? So that's just the whole idea of focus, right? When you're writing in an academic environment, honestly, this is not, I always tell students, don't overthink it. This is not what's it called? This is not creative writing. This is research. So you should understand that it's all about, I choose a topic and then I'm just going to focus on writing about that topic, and that's it. I have my thesis statement. I'm just going to focus on writing my thesis statement. I'm just going to focus on only expanding and explaining my thesis statement in my paragraphs. And that's it. So that takes us to our next point. All right. So unity and coherence, right? Unity and coherence. Now, what is unity? I'm sure many of you must have heard that the idea. I'm sure many of you must have heard about unity when it comes to writing an academic essay. Unity there means that you are trying to write ideas and points in a particular paragraph that only focuses on the main point of that paragraph. So a paragraph has achieved unity when it contains points, details, and sentences that only focus on explaining the single main point of a paragraph. So meaning, like I said earlier, your body paragraphs must only have one main point, just one point. And every other sentence in that paragraph should only be explaining that one point. And the main point of a body paragraph is called what? What's it called? Can someone help me? The main point of a body paragraph is called what?
Is it the topic sentence?
Correct. It's a topic sentence,
Okay.
right? It's called a topic sentence. I know it's right there in front of us, right?
Right in front of us.
Yeah. So it's called a topic sentence. So anytime you're writing your body paragraph, you must have a topic sentence. I know I'm using this kind of imperative statement, right? Like must. Yes, it's mandatory you have a topic sentence. All right. Now, coherence. Coherence, you achieve coherence when each sentence within your paragraph logically connects and contributes to each other. That's coherence right there. So unity, you achieve unity when all the sentences in your paragraph connects to the topic sentence or to the main points. But then you achieve coherence when all the sentences are connected to each other. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And the best way to connect each sentences or to connect each sentence to each other is by using transition words. In fact, that's the only way to achieve coherence. That's the only way to achieve coherence. It's by using transition words. Can someone tell me, has anyone ever used the transition word before? Thumbs up if you've used the transition word. Anybody? Can someone say yes? Oh, Monique, that's good. All right. Okay, Monique, can you give us an example of a transition word? Are you able to?
But therefore?
Therefore, good job. Yes, that's a transition word. Right there. Another example, someone else? I know Patricia.
Yeah, I'm here. Thus.
Yes, thus. Yes. However, I see Jem Henry. That's good. I like that. However, that's
Yeah.
good.
Also,
right? Also, who said that? I'm sorry.
I
Who
did.
said, oh, that's good. That's good. Also, that's good. That's Roxanne. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, that's good. Also, however, now, many of you will say, you know what? I don't know how to make my sentences flow and all of that. The only solution is unity and coherence. That's the solution right there. Don't overthink it or anything. What you want to do is this, right? You want to create body paragraphs that contains topic sentences. That's all. That's the first thing you want to do. That's the first step. You want to create body paragraphs that contains what? A topic sentence. And then you want to make sure that every sentence in that paragraph is only discussing that topic sentence. And then you want to make sure that you're using transition words within the paragraph. That's it. So I feel like you all are understanding it, right? Because that's all. There's nothing else. So I'm just going to show what we're going to be doing right now is that we're just going to be looking at some activities and some examples, right, of how to achieve unity and coherence. So let's look at this. Now let's look at unity. Achieving unity is similar to a speaker trying to, let me use the word, speak on topic rather than going off topic. Right? Have you ever had this discussion with someone and you're like, why are you going off topic? Right? Or maybe you're having a conversation with someone and then the person is like going off topic. Like the person is not saying ideas or points that connects to the overall topic you all are discussing, right? So that's the way to achieve unity right there. Your aim is that you want to write on topic. You don't want to write off topic. So meaning that every idea you write in a paragraph, right, must connect to your topic sentence. And I'm going to show you an example of that. So the question you need to ask is, does my essay contain a thesis statement? That's the first thing, right? Does my body paragraph contain a topic sentence? Are all the sentences and evidences in my body paragraph only explaining the topic sentence? I'm going to show you an example of that, right? Let's look at this. So, sorry. So let's look at this example right here. So like I said, look at this exercise right here. It says, identify anywhere in the following paragraph where the writer goes off topic by making a statement that does not fit the topic sentence. For each paragraph below, on a separate sheet of paper, write out any sentence that does not fit the paragraph. Right? So let's just look at this paragraph right here. Gary, let's just look at this paragraph right here. There should be a topic sentence. The idea, a topic sentence is the main point. Is the main point of the paragraph. Like meaning that it is the overall point of the paragraph. It is the point that that every other sentence in the paragraph is explaining. So let me give you an example quickly. I think if you go back to the, sorry, please, let me show you something. One sentence. So now let's look at these examples here, right? So look at this. For one thing, look at this paragraph right here. It says, for one thing, privacy is a very, very precious commodity. For one thing, privacy is a very precious commodity. Ever since I was 10, I have had my own room to retreat to I've had my own room to retreat to whenever I needed to be alone. So it's difficult adjusting to sharing a tiny cubicle with one other person. My roommate always seems to be around. So if I want to listen to the new No Doubt album, I have to ask whether it's okay first. But if she's around, I usually can't enjoy the music because I know that she only likes hip hop and shows her resentment and judgment of my taste in music. Now let's look at this. The topic sentence, so the rule, like we said, is that a paragraph must have a topic sentence or a body paragraph. So this is the introduction paragraph right here. The introduction paragraph does not need a topic sentence, right? But the point is that the body paragraph must have a topic sentence. So if you look at this paragraph right here, what would you say is the topic sentence, the main point of the sentence?
Privacy.
No, you have to read it completely.
Oh,
Privacy is a very precious commodity.
Exactly, that's it. That's the main point right here. For one
Okay.
thing, privacy is a very precious commodity.
mhm.
And what did these students do? What the student did was to write other sentences in that paragraph that only explains this topic sentence.
Mhm.
Every sentence in this paragraph is only explaining this.
It's very redundant, as you said,
Okay, why is it redundant?
because it's repeating the same thing in different ways. It's like using a synonym, same meaning, but different words.
Exactly. Well, I would agree with you, but if you see it that way, that's fine. But then the
In
reason why I
another
think,
sense,
sorry, what do you say, Faye? I'm
I
sorry.
was saying that not literally, but I'll just stick with the basic thing that I said, just the redundancy of repeating the same thing as if somebody didn't hear you the first time. You just go too far with it. You made your statement and then you keep it moving and flowing. You don't just stay on one thing through the whole paragraph, repeating the same thing over and over.
Okay, that's a good point. But I would say, right, I hear you, but I would say that the student is not redundant, or of which I like your point, right? One of the basic thing as a student, you want to avoid in your paragraph, you want to avoid what we call the circular argument, right? Meaning that you are saying the same thing in different ways, right? So, but then I don't personally, I'll say I don't see that happening here, right? This student, I think, explained this topic sentence by providing different scenarios that explains it. Says this, ever since I was 10, I have had my own room to retreat to whenever I needed to be alone, right? Talking about privacy. So it's difficult adjusting to sharing a tiny cubicle with one other person. Now, the first statement here illustrates, the student's experience with privacy. Now, the second sentence explains the student's current experience with privacy. So past experience with privacy, current experience with privacy says that now it is difficult, right? And then the third sentence is that what? My roommate always seems to be around, provides what? An example of how, his privacy is being distorted in some ways, right? My roommate always seems to be around. So if I want to listen to the new No Doubt album, I have to ask whether it's okay first. Still an example, right? Just explaining an example of how, privacy is very precious. Right? But if she's around, I usually can't enjoy the music because I know that she only likes hip hop and shows a resentment and judgment for my taste. Due to this lack of privacy, this student does not have the freedom to play any music, right? So I'll say that this student is not redundant. All right, that's what I'll say. I don't see the redundancy here, right? Because I'll say that this student has achieved unity, right? Writing different sentences within the paragraph, but those different sentences are only explaining one topic sentence. Later on, I'll further show you how to approach this, right? Right, but Faye, yeah, go on.
I see too, when you said that it must be about that.
Mhm,
That whole paragraph must be about the topic.
mhm.
And it's not supposed to go off into something else. It's
Yes,
supposed to stay there and be right about that. I
yeah.
see that in that.
Yes, yes. Right, yes, exactly. Right, this student has maintained only discussing the topic. Yes, you're correct, Jacqueline.
I have a
That's it.
question.
Go on, please.
Although it's not poetry, the fact that the person is reiterating the message of it being privacy, would that be parallelism or parallelism?
Well, it could be, but this is not poetry, like you
I
said.
know.
So there'll be no need to do that.
Okay.
Yes. So now let's look at another example, right? Let's look at this other example. Right, the topic sentence is right here. Another problem with living in the dorms is that such close quarters can always result in friction between roommates, especially if personality clashes exist. This right here is the topic sentence. The idea is just like Jacqueline said, the idea is that every other sentence in this paragraph should only be explaining this.
Yes.
So the student that has written this paragraph, our goal was that, I don't want to write off topic, right? I don't want to write off topic sentence, right? Let's put it that way.
Mhm.
So it says, for instance, my roommate is a big slob while I'm known as compulsively neat. Right? So I'm so tired of having to step over our piles of clothes littering the floor and hunting for my books and papers among our empty soda bottles, banana peels, and candy wrappers that are always scattered all over our desk. I am fed up with spending any time or energy arguing with her about having to clean up our messes when I could be using the valuable time getting schoolwork done.
That's the topic.
Yeah. Everything here is
Yes.
discussing the topic sentence.
Yes.
So that's how you should also frame your paragraphs when you're writing in an academic environment. In fact, this is actually an informal essay. It's not even an academic essay.
Mm.
But this student is following that style, the academic style.
Okay.
Right? So we can see the first sentence here. For instance, my roommate is a big slob while I'm known as compulsively neat. Right?
Mm-hmm.
This first sentence is can someone help us? This first, or let's say this second sentence is discussing what part of the topic sentence? Can someone help us?
The problems.
Yes, the problem. What specific problem?
Living with a slob.
No.
Personality clashes.
Exactly, personality clashes. Yes.
Okay, I see.
Yes. Right? So
Yes.
the second one is saying, so I am so tired of having to step over our piles of clothes littering the floor and hunting for my book and papers among our empty soda bottles, banana peels, and all of that, scattered all over our desk.
Mm-hmm.
Now look at this sentence.
Yes.
What part of the topic sentence is this what part of the topic sentence is this one statement discussing?
Friction.
Yeah.
Friction. Yes. Friction between roommates.
Yes.
Good. And again, you could he's also talking about, the problem with living in dorms.
Mm-hmm.
It says another problem with living in the dorms is that such close quarters. So the problem of close quarters, right? It's too close and it just makes everywhere congested,
Yes.
right? And then I'm fed up with spending any time or energy arguing with her about having to clean up our messes when I could be using this valuable time getting schoolwork done. What part of the topic sentence is that discussing?
They're clashing.
Yeah, clashes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're clashing.
Yes. Personality clashes.
But my question is the fact that she's a slob, wouldn't that define something that's contained within that sentence? Because she goes on to explain why she's a slob. Banana peels, candy wrappers, and things like that all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah,
But-
which is, it explains why she's a slob. But the point we are making here,
Mhm,
is that every sentence
mhm.
in this paragraph is only discussing
The friction.
this,
Okay,
the topic sentence,
I got
right?
it.
Just from a theoretical perspective, right?
I get it.
Yeah, so that's the point, right? So let's go to that exercise. All right, let's go to this exercise. Now, look at this. It says identify anywhere in the following paragraphs where the writer goes off topic by making a statement that does not fit with the topic sentence. For each paragraph below on a separate sheet of paper, write out any sentence that does not fit the paragraph. So let's look at this. Can someone help us? Right? Just take your time, read it. Right? So there are like, so how many sentences here? This is the first sentence, second sentence, third sentence, and fourth sentence. So there are only 4 sentences here. So this is what you should do. When you find that sentence that goes off topic, right? Just type in the chat box, just type in the sentence, right? Or you can just say, oh, it's sentence 4, or it's sentence 1, or sentence 2. All right, we have 30 more seconds. Okay, see people.
I see 3.
Or just
2.
type it in the chat box.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know how to use the chat box.
Oh, so
Yeah.
do you see something like a chat like this?
Yeah.
Looks like a box. So click on that and type in it.
Okay, let's see now.
Now, how do you send it? Oh, just that little arrow?
Yeah, or you just click enter. Okay. Okay, so let's look at this. All right, so we're done here. All right, many of you said 3, 3, 3. Awesome. That's good. That's good. You're correct. Yes, right? This goes off topic. The movie Boogie Nights was also controversial. Doesn't connect, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Right.
good. Good job, everyone. Good job, everyone. All right, let's look at this third. No, let's look at the fourth one. All right, tell me what sentence goes off topic.
Let's see here.
And what sentence, also just tell me what sentence, okay, yes, just tell me what sentence goes off topic.
What's with the third?
Can you type it in the chat box?
1, 2, 3. Oh, 1 and 3.
All right, okay. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. I see someone, okay, all right. I like the way some of you answered it. You just said the legislation to address serious problems with global warming. That's sentence 3.
Mm-hmm.
Most of you had that. That's good. Yes,
Right.
that goes off topic,
Yeah.
right? That
Mhm.
goes off topic. Can someone tell me what's the topic sentence? What's the topic? So someone should just tell us, what's the topic sentence of this paragraph?
Some people believe we live in the worst times, that the horrors we in the 20th century have endured, or at least have heard of what they read about, or worse in human history.
Correct. Good job. Good job, everyone. Good job, everyone. You all are doing a good job. Good job, Jacqueline. So that's it. Right now, the goal when you're writing your paragraph, your goal should be to avoid any statement that goes off topic. And this also calls us to the fact that when you are writing a body paragraph, you must have a topic sentence. And that's the way your sentences will flow. Because when you have a topic sentence, right, intuitively, you would want to ensure that every sentence in that paragraph only discusses the topic sentence.
Yes.
So that's it. So from now on, when you write the body paragraph, always have a topic sentence. Okay, so now that we are done with that, the next thing we want to do is, you know, how can we, what should, go on.
Just before you go on, so when we are writing the paragraphs and the body should connect because we're using transitional verbs or adverbs or whatever, but each paragraph should have, as we transition, each paragraph should have a topic sentence. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, each body paragraph should have a topic sentence.
Thank you.
So your introduction paragraph and your conclusion paragraph, they don't need a topic sentence. Do you get it? Yeah, only your body paragraphs.
Okay.
Right? Each of them. And then I'm going to show you the logic behind all of that. Like you all are going to see it now. And I can see Faye, you asked the question, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go. He said, can you look at a topic sentence as a premise? Yes, it could be a premise. You are correct. And we're going to look at all of that. You're correct.
Thank you.
Yes. Monique, yes, you all will get the PowerPoint after this session, but I'm not saying today, but you all will get the PowerPoint.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Okay, so now let's look at something. All right. So let's look at something. Now that we are done with unity, so what are the steps for achieving unity? What are the steps for achieving unity? So the first thing, like we discussed earlier, is you need to create a thesis statement. You must have a thesis statement, right? You need to create an outline focused on the thesis statement. Your outline, so the next thing you want to do, once you have a thesis statement, you should have an outline. And creating an outline is so important. It's essential for achieving unity and coherence in your essay, right?
Uncle,
And the next thing,
I see. Go downstairs to ask your mommy. She outside.
so and the next thing you want to do is create a body paragraph or create body paragraphs that contain topic sentence, subtopics, and evidence that only supports topic sentences and subtopics.
Okay.
I'm going to show you an example of that. So first thing, you want to have your thesis statement, you want to create an outline, and then what you want to do is you want to have topic sentence, you want to create body paragraphs that contains a topic sentence, subtopics, and evidences that only supports your topic sentences or your topic sentence or your subtopics. All right. So let me show you an example of what I'm talking about here. So if we look at this, so let's take a look at this. All right. Now, let's go up here. All right. So this is my one of my popular outlines. All right. So we have this outline right here for an essay. All right, there is this outline right here. So looking at this outline here, the first thing, right, the first paragraph of an essay is called what? Can someone help me? Introductory. Yeah, correct. Introductory or introduction paragraph.
Mhm.
And your introduction paragraph should contain a hook and then a thesis statement.
Mhm.
Right? In most cases, you must have your thesis statement. Well, in this case, we have a thesis statement here. Right? So in your outline, one thing you should do in your outline is to create a thesis statement or identify a thesis statement with supporting points. Right? So let's look at this thesis statement. It says violent video games are psychologically toxic because they desensitize players to real life violence, lead to aggressive behaviors, and decreased kindness. Let's look at this thesis statement. Violent video games are psychologically toxic because they desensitize players to real life violence, lead to aggressive behaviors, and decreased kindness. Now, looking at this thesis statement right here, one thing you will notice in this thesis statement is that you have a topic, violent video games. And again, in our own case, we'll say the topic is violent video games are psychologically toxic. But then the supporting points, right? Can someone tell me what are the supporting points? What are the supporting points in this thesis statement?
Because they desensitize players to real life violence and lead to the aggressive behaviors and decreased kindness.
Good job, Cynthia. Good job. Right? Those are the supporting points right there. Right? Because yes, thank you, Jem. It tells why. Right? So we can see that video games is telling us, it's not just, so your thesis statement is not just telling us what is happening. It's also telling us why it is happening. And then for some other research, the focus could also be on how it is happening. So there are always two ways to approach your thesis statements, right? It's either you're telling us why or you're telling us how.
And the hook too.
Right? Yeah, the hook is just, you're just writing some statements. So the hook here is just some statements to lure your audience or to draw your audience to read your work.
Yes, to draw.
Right? Yeah. So that's it. So you have your thesis statement. And remember what we said. We said that for you to create an essay that is unified, or for you to achieve unity and coherence within your paragraph, you must have a thesis statement. Right? So now let's look at this. So now once you have your thesis statement.
I need to ask one thing.
Yes.
Where was the hook in that thesis statement?
That's a good question. So your thesis, the hook is something different. It's actually different from the thesis statement. So you don't have a hook in your thesis statement. You have your hook in your introduction paragraph.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. And yes, that's a good question because many students always confuse the hook with the thesis statement. Right. So yeah, so we have our thesis statement right here with 3 points. Now you have your background paragraph, right? That we don't really need to discuss that for now, right? You have your background paragraph. Now, this is the core of our discussion, the body paragraphs.
Okay.
Right? The body paragraphs, like right here, we have 3 body paragraphs, right? If you look at it, we have body paragraph A, body paragraph B, body paragraph C. Can someone tell me, why do we have 3 body paragraphs here?
Because of this description, you have your conclusion, your subpoint.
No. Why do we have 3 body paragraphs?
Oh, because it's a oh my God. We just
So you have 3 subpoints?
Yes, because you have 3 points. Good job, Sharon.
Yeah.
And you said that's normal.
Yeah, that's normal.
Yes.
Yes. So your
And it's
thesis
flowing.
statement, yes. So your thesis statement has 3 points. In many cases, I think I've told students this, like in many cases, for undergraduates, right? Do we have any graduate students here? If you're a graduate student, say hi. Okay, that's good. That's good. All right. So I would say this, right? This is my own experience. Oh, hi, Faye. That's good, right? So
Hi.
oh, that's good. So like this is it, right? From my own experience and from what I've seen so far in academia. So if you're an undergrad student, your professor would likely ask you to provide a thesis statement with 3 points. Your professor will likely ask you to do that, right? But then if you're a graduate student, you have the freedom to have a thesis statement with even 1 point. That's fine.
Okay, do you put the point A, point B in your thesis statement?
No, you don't put it there. I just kept it there for emphasis. Thank you. That's a good question. Yes, you
I'm
don't have
just
to put this.
asking. I'm just
Yeah,
asking.
that's a good question. Yeah, so let me take it off right now. You don't need it. You don't have to put that there. Yeah.
You explain each point with the 3 paragraphs or no?
Good job. Yes, you do explain.
Okay, I put that in the chat. I don't know if it was right or not.
Oh, yes, you do that, right? So let's look at this, right? We have a thesis statement with 3 points,
Okay.
right? So body paragraph A. No, before I say that, remember what we said at the beginning of this session. We said that in order for you to achieve unity and coherence, every idea or every point in your essay, every sentence in your essay should only be discussing your thesis statement. I said that at the beginning. And some of you are like, what? The thesis statement is just 1 sentence. How would that even work? Every sentence and every idea in your essay should only discuss your thesis statement. Now, note this. Violent video games are psychologically toxic, right? Trust me, there are so many reasons. There are more than 3 reasons, right?
Right.
But then because the person writing this is Golden, right? My name is Golden, right? Not person writing this is Golden. Golden is like, you know what? I just want to have only 3 points. And for some of you, your professor will require 3 points. I'm only going to provide 3 reasons why violent video games are psychologically toxic. There are many reasons. Now, all through your essay, you should only be discussing those 3 reasons. Only those 3 reasons. Do not discuss any 4th reason. Do not discuss any 5th reason. Yes, in your mind, you're like, oh, there are 10 reasons. No, just only focus on this reason right here in your thesis statement. Right? So now, your first body paragraph, right? Body paragraph A, we discuss what? What do you think this body paragraph, your first body paragraph, what would it be talking about? What will you be talking about in your first body paragraph, given this thesis statement?
Why violent video is toxic.
No, but you're almost there.
They are psychological. They
Real life violence.
desensitize.
All right.
Real
Let's
life
start.
violence.
Sharon, can you say it?
They desensitize players to real life violence.
Exactly. They desensitize players to real life violence. So your first body paragraph will be discussing the first point in your thesis statement. Your second body paragraph will be discussing what? Can someone else help me? Someone else apart from Sharon?
Led to aggressive behavior.
Exactly, leading to aggressive behaviors. And your third body paragraph will discuss what?
You see, decreased kindness.
Good job, decreased kindness. Right?
That's what I meant when I said decompartmentalize.
Yes,
Yes. Mhm.
exactly. Very well. Yeah, so that's it.
And
So you have,
you're sending, excuse me, you're sending us this?
yes, I'm going to send you all this.
Oh, good.
Great,
Yes.
that's good. Yes.
All right. So that's it. That's it. So we said that now you understand. So now the thesis points, right,
Mhm.
would become your topic sentence in the body paragraph. Do you get it? So your topic sentence, so it says here, I have a topic sentence that reflects the main points of the paragraph,
Mhm.
Mhm.
right? So your topic sentence should be connected to your thesis points,
Mhm.
right? Just as we've discussed. So, right, so what, in other words, we can say that these 3 points here are 3 different topic sentences, right?
Mhm.
So we can have it here that I have a topic sentence that reflects. So your topic sentence could now be, so let's write it there. Topic sentence. Violent video games are psychologically toxic because, sorry. So violent video games are psychologically toxic because they desensitize, right? It's supposed to be desensitize players to real life violence. That's your topic sentence right there. That's it.
Mhm.
You get a
Now,
topic sentence, then you illustrate it in.
yes, yes, that's
Yeah,
it.
that's good.
So what you want to do now is that, right, like we said, to achieve unity in this paragraph, you want to make sure that's what? How would you achieve unity, Jacqueline?
It would be the transitioning the words.
Yeah, it could be that, but that's not it. How do you achieve unity?
Oh,
Like looking at the previous exercise we conducted, how would you achieve unity? You want to make sure you don't what?
go off the topic.
Don't go off
Exactly.
point. Go
Yes,
off
you
point.
want to make sure you don't go off point. You want to make sure that every other sentence in
Yes.
that paragraph is
Yes.
discussing how violent video games are psychologically
Yes.
toxic because they desensitize players to real life violence.
Yes.
And now, the other thing I said we should do, these are just basic, what I'm just talking about here are just basic steps you can take, all right? The other thing you could do is add subpoints,
Subpoints.
right? So let me just take this away for now. We don't need it. All right. Let's look at it. The other thing you can do is add subpoints. And to add subpoints, right? To add subpoints, what you want to do is think through questions. Or I'll say sometimes I always say think through opportunities to develop a detailed paragraph or think through opportunities to develop subpoints. So I call them opportunities, right? That's what you want to do. That's the other thing you want to do, right? So you have your topic sentence right here. Let me just remove this. So, so right here you have your topic sentence, right? Let's get it. These are topic sentence right here. Violent video games are psychologically toxic because they desensitize players to real life violence. The next thing you want to do is create your subpoints. Honestly, everyone, it's so easy to create subpoints. It just depends on you. What you want to do next is think through opportunities. And I've right here, you see 5 criteria to develop or to create a detailed paragraph. Or we could just say 5 criteria to develop subpoints. Let me just put develop subpoints.
Okay.
Subpoints, right? The first thing you want to do there are 5 criteria right here. And please note that these are optional. So you can choose any of these 5. You could choose from any of these 5. All right. So look at this. It says seeking opportunities to define unique terms, seeking opportunities to discuss causes, seeking opportunities to discuss the effect of a situation, seeking opportunities to discuss the procedures of a situation, seeking opportunities to illustrate examples of a situation. Right? So as a student, one thing you might, want to, so like, okay, let's look at this example, right? Like look at the exercise that we looked at recently. What we just saw, we saw that student talking about, how he doesn't like, sorry, we saw the student talking about how he doesn't like his hostel, or he doesn't like the dormitory and all of that, right? The first thing the student did was to provide what? Examples of why the dormitory is a difficult situation. Right? Talking about having banana peels on the ground and all of that. Those are examples.
Okay.
Right? So what that student did there was to seek opportunities to discuss example. The student was like, all right, I would like to discuss this topic sentence. You know what? I just want to discuss examples. For some of you, you might say, you know what? How do I discuss that violent video games are psychologically toxic? Right? And how do I discuss how violent video games desensitize players to real life violence? Right? For some of you, you might say, you know what? I'm going to seek opportunities to discuss procedure. How does, yes, like, how does this even happen? Right?
Yeah, how?
Right, how does this even happen? For some of you, you might say, you know what? I want to discuss the effects. Right? When the player is desensitized to real life violence, what does this lead to? For some of you, you might want to do that. For some of you, you might say, you know what? I want to illustrate examples of how violent video games desensitize players to real life violence.
Excuse me, I beg your pardon.
Yes.
You just remind me of something. Sometimes when I'm connecting things after I've introduced it, I may, like my cohort said, use a conjunction, or I may say, for instance, or accordingly.
Yes.
According to turn the corner.
Yes.
So would that be seeking an opportunity to discuss the effects of a situation, argument, or condition using evidence? Why?
Yes. Why?
That's what came to my mind.
Exactly. Why? So if you're going to discuss the effects, you're going to say, all right, why? Right? Or if you're saying that, you know what, I want to discuss the effects of, this desensitization. Right? What happens? Like, okay, once they are desensitized, what happens? Now, as students, you have the freedom to choose whatever aspect you want to discuss.
Okay.
And this here would actually help you develop your sub points. Now, this is an example I'll give, right? So this is the rule here. You can use any of these 5 as many times as you want. For instance, I might say, you know what? I think there are 2 effects, right? So I'm choosing to talk about effects. And then as I'm like, you know what? There are 2 effects when the player is desensitized, right? So I can say for my first sub point, I'm going to discuss effects. Let me just say the first effect, right? And for my second sub point, I might say I want to discuss the second effect. Do you get it?
I do.
So, and again, another thing is this, right? For some of you, you might say, you know what? My sub point, I want to discuss, right? So for some of you, you might say, I want to define unique terms. I want to define unique terms. So maybe you want to define, desensitize. What does desensitize mean? All right. According to this research, according to this research, what does desensitize mean? All right.
Okay, I think I get it. So if I wanted my subtopic to be, what I just read, the causes, something about,
Yes.
yes, seeking opportunities. So I would say that, and then A, B, 1, 2, or whatever, name some of the causes.
Yeah, depends on you. Yes, you can do that.
Okay, I think
Yeah.
I got you know it.
Yeah, so for some of you, you might say, you know what, I want to discuss the procedures, right? Right here. So you can say, yes, for your second sub point, say, all right, you know what, I want to discuss the procedures. But then, see, the one thing you have to do is this, right? This is something I didn't mention. Once you say, okay, you know, I want to define unique terms, right? You need to also write the specifics about what you want to define, right? So it says, according to this research, what does desensitize mean? For some of you, you might say, I want to discuss the procedures. You can say, you know what, according, just write it in your own words, right? How does,
Sometimes I say signify or denotes. This process denotes or signifies, because I try not to use the same words over that I used in the previous sentence to
correct.
lead me into it. So if I'm talking about desensitivity, according to Professor Golden, desensitivity causes, and I go in another way, I come down the street another way.
Yes, but remember, you're just defining a term. So you can't
Yes,
define a term and talk about the causes at the same time.
I meant to say the causes, not
Yes, so you
reiterating it.
can't do that at the same
Thank
time. They
you.
are different. Yes, correct.
Thank you.
So
You're right. Thank you.
one thing you have to do is what does desensitize mean, right? Another sub point could be discuss the procedures, right? What is, so I'll write it in my own words. How I can say, how does, violent video game lead to desensitization, right?
I think I'm catching on. I think.
Yeah, desensitization to real life violence.
So this is like defining research. We're gonna stay on that. We're gonna stay on that and not get off of that when it comes to this here.
Yes, you're not getting off.
Right.
Yeah, all these are just like what you have here. These are just like parameters, or these are just ways you can think about, your sub points that will help you develop your topic sentence. Right?
Yes.
You can see here, define unique terms. According to this research, what does desensitize mean? Right? So in my essay, I might just want to explain what that means. Right? So, and also what you can see here is that what I have here connects to the topic sentence. Right? What does desensitize mean? Desensitize players, right? Discuss the procedure. How do violent video games lead to desensitization to real life violence, right? So it's all connected to the topic sentence.
Yes.
So the outline comes before the thesis paper.
No, you're not writing what do you mean by thesis paper?
Hmm?
What do you mean by thesis paper?
The paragraphs that we're writing, we use the outline to develop the paper.
Yeah, use the outline to develop the paper. Exactly. Yes, you're correct.
All
Is that
right.
Patricia?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Yes.
Thank
Good job. Yes, you're correct.
All right.
All right. Yeah, so that's it. All right. So that's just the way to approach this.
Yes, I mean, this is a
So
blessing.
yeah, so like one thing you could, for some of you, you can create another sub point if you want. Like it's not compulsory you have only two. For some of you, you might have a third sub point. You might say, you know what? I want to discuss examples. Depends on you, right? You can make the freedom. You have the freedom to, choose the parameter at which you want to discuss your topic sentence, right? So like you can say, I want to seek the opportunity. I want to illustrate examples, right? And just write here. So I'm just telling you what I would do, right? I'll just say, I want to discuss examples. I can just write discuss examples. But then I have to write the specifics, right? And then I'll say, what are the examples of individuals who have experienced this kind of desensitization, right? So some of you, sorry. Right? What are examples of individuals who have experienced this kind of desensitization? Do you see it? So it depends on you. All right, let's go down to the next paragraph. I want you all are going to do the same, right? So this is what I want you all to do. Everyone, let's do this. Your topic sentence. I'm going to create the topic sentence here. You all will create the subtopics. I mean the sub points yourself. Remember, there is no, you have the freedom to choose whatever parameter you want to use.
Okay.
Right. So just provide two sub points. All right. The topic sentence here is let's look at this. Following video games are psychologically toxic because they lead to aggressive behaviors. Oops, sorry. Let's look at that. Let's switch this off. All right, let's look at that. That's your topic sentence right there. So in the chat box, I want you to write two sub points. Make sure you also put the specifics. So you just like what we have here, discuss the procedures and then you write the specifics. You can write it in a question format, right? How do violent video games lead to desensitization to real life violence? Right? Now, what are the examples of individuals who have experienced this kind of desensitization? You just make sure you have the parameter and the specifics concerning the parameter. All right, let's see how you do it. So this is the topic sentence right here. All right, you have just 1 more minute to do that.
Can we just write the number in?
No, because I also want you to write the specifics.
Okay.
So just tell me the parameter you're going to be using, right? You can write it in short form. Look how I wrote mine here. I said discuss examples, right? So meaning that I
Okay.
was taking opportunity to illustrate examples.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, 1 more minute, like I said. So Sharon and Jem, I see that you posted something. Look at this example. Use this. Can you see how I did mine here? So tell me the parameter and then provide the specifics. And Sharon, be
I guess
careful.
I'm not understanding.
Okay, so can you see use the word children? Is there any sentence that says children in the topic sentence? Is there
No.
any word that says no? So it means that in some ways you're going off topic, right? So my point is this, right? This is it. My point is tell me the parameter you're going to use to discuss this topic sentence. Choose one of these parameters, right here, and then tell me the specific as to how you would apply that parameter. So look at what I did here. I said, so here is the topic sentence. The parameter I'll be using to discuss this topic sentence is to what? Discuss the procedures. And then the specific of how I'll apply that parameter is this. I wrote this. I said, how do violent games lead to desensitization to real life violence?
So it has to be in a question?
Yes, it has to be in a question, but it's not mandatory.
Define unique term. So
look at this topic sentence right here. So let me see. Patricia, be specific. What situation are you talking about?
Violent video games.
Remember, you're focusing on the topic sentence. Don't go outside. Leads to aggressive behavior. Exactly, that's a good one. How does violent video games cause hostility? Right? So Marilyn, that's a good one, but you could have written it in a question format. Right? How does violent video game lead to hostility? Right? I like that. That's a good one. Okay, Faye, that's a good one. You've gone extra mile. That's good. So, but then you did not tell me what parameter did you use? What parameter did you use?
That I use our professional statistics from the NIH.
No,
and
like
I'm
looking at
showing
this.
how they are violent towards other people, and I'm showing the disparity is significantly towards a certain age group.
That's good. Totally good. Right. But can you also tell us, like, what was the parameter that you used here? Like looking at these 5 parameters, what parameter did you use?
The topic, subject, the subtopic, how.
No, looking at this, can you see the
I'm
screen?
sorry. It's a lot of distractions y'all can't hear. Okay, I see you got highlight over here. Seeking the opportunity to define unique terms, using evidence, what, seeking opportunity to discuss how, I divulge my source and what the source says and the conditions of the premise of the source.
Okay. All right. So let's Faye, we're going to talk about yours again, right? But what you have is good. But we're going to talk about this. So,
Please.
how being combative leads to violent outcomes. That's very good, Roxanne. That's so good. Very good. Patricia, you're discussing the procedures. Good. How did this situation get to? No, we're not talking about lack of parental guardians. You're going outside the topic, Patricia. The
So the
topic is
whole thing is
Okay, I thought that might,
desensitization. So we have to
okay.
stay on the topic of desensitization.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
No, let's look at it. Let's look at it one more time, everyone. The topic sentence is violent video games are psychologically toxic because they lead to aggressive behaviors.
Oh,
Okay.
aggressive behavior.
Aggressive behavior.
Oh,
Do you see it? Can you all see the screen? I highlighted it just now. Can you
so
see?
Yes.
So
yeah.
create a sub point for
Adverb.
that topic sentence. Like what Roxanne did. Roxanne, that was good. Create a sub point for that topic sentence.
Yeah.
So you choose one of these parameters here,
Mhm.
right? For me, I can say, you know what? Violent video games are psychologically toxic because they lead to aggressive behavior. I might say, you know what? I want to discuss the procedure, like this part here. You see it right here? Number 4. For me, that's me. I'll say, I want to discuss the procedure.
Oh,
And I'll say, you know what? I'll discuss procedure.
Okay, discuss the procedure.
And then I'll provide specifics as to procedure, right? Procedure is asking the how. How does this happen? Right? So I can say, how does violent video games,
What if
right,
you don't know the
lead to aggressive behavior?
so would it be why?
It could be anything you choose. Just choose one of this,
Okay.
right? All you're doing is that you're just choosing one, anyone that you want, anyone that fits your interest.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to
Honestly, I
figure out-
chose discuss procedure because that's what I want to choose. So
What
let's
if you don't know the answer to your question?
very good, Sharon. Sharon, look at everyone. Look at Sharon's post. Why does violent video game lead to violent behaviors or aggressive behaviors?
Oh, violent.
Where is her point?
Right? It's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
Is she nine?
Yes, she's correct. Sharon is correct. Why does so Sharon? What parameter did you choose?
I
Yeah.
choose the seeking opportunity to discuss the effects.
Good
of
job.
situation.
Seeking opportunities to discuss the effect.
Wait a minute.
Right, Sharon? Did I tell you to choose that?
No.
No, it's your choice.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Which one is that? Number 4?
That's number 3.
Number 3. To discuss the effects of a situation.
Yeah.
And then your question was, why my screen, I have to go back and forth.
Yeah.
Check.
So let's just go there. And so everyone, I hope we get it, right? All right. So the idea
No.
here is that
Jacqueline, that's because Jacqueline's is not right, correct?
I kind of
Jacqueline, let's
You're going off topic.
no,
Well-
Jacqueline, yes, you're correct. Jacqueline, you're going off topic.
Yes, and I get it, but I have.
Okay,
to
wait a minute. Let me
figure out-
see here.
I can't figure out the answer to the question.
Well, it's about the gamers, right? It's about, let's see here. Let me go back.
Like the-
Video games.
Yeah.
No, violent video games.
Okay,
Violent video
so
games.
that's what it's about.
How the
No. Look at it. It's not about it's not just about violent video games. It's
Right.
about violent
The
video
effects.
games are psychologically toxic because they lead to
to
aggressive behaviors.
So I gave an example of the gamer and why it leads to the type of behavior. That's not right.
Oh, I
No.
see. Okay. So this, I see what you did there. And a lot of
see there?
profanity and leave them. Okay. I see what you're doing, right? What you're doing is the same thing that Faye did,
Let's see what I did.
right? So what I want you to do is this,
Excuse
just on a
me.
basic level, right? What I want you to do on a basic level, Jacqueline, is this. Tell me the parameter you're going to use to discuss this topic sentence. You have the freedom to choose whatever parameter.
I
And
choose 5.
which one did you choose?
I choose 5.
Seeking to illustrate what? Examples, right?
Situation, arguments, or conditions. And then I chose why.
Oh, no. So this is it, right? Look at what the sentence says, seeking opportunities to illustrate examples of a situation, argument, or condition. You're not illustrating a situation, argument, or condition. You are illustrating examples. Do you get it?
Okay.
Right? But what you have is correct, right? If so, looking at what you've written, right? Looking at what you've written, I would say that you chose the opportunity to discuss procedure,
Okay.
right? Violent video games could be addictive and then they do not get enough sleep, right? And that leads
Yes.
to what? Aggressive behaviors,
Aggressive behavior. Yeah.
right?
I see you. I see it.
Do you get, so you're telling us the process, how this happens,
Yeah.
right? How this comes to be. So that's good.
Am I getting close? I put something in there.
So that's what you have is good, Patricia, but you're not really telling us the specific. You're not still specific. You're saying, how did this situation get to its current state? What situation are you talking about?
What am I talking about?
You said, how did this situation get to its current state?
Yes.
What situation are you talking about?
Oh, okay. I have to put that in.
Yes, you have to put that there.
And that is violent video games are psychologically toxic. And then I ask the question, then I give the answer. I said the game will watch it 5 hours a day. So
No, look at it. This is not just, the topic is not that violent video games are psychologically toxic. The topic is that violent video games are psychologically toxic because they lead to aggressive behaviors. The whole thing is the topic sentence.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Then the subpoint would be that I'm asking is, how did this situation get to its current state?
What situation are you talking about?
Oh, the situation of violent video games leading to aggressive behavior.
Correct. That's correct.
Oh.
Yes, that's correct.
Oh. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah, I know it could be, yeah. So so again, right? So just for us to move on, right?
Okay.
I'm going to show you all other examples that would make this clearer, right?
Yeah.
So one thing you have to note is that the way you all are feeling now, trust me, many students actually feel the same way when they are constructing their essays, right? Because sometimes, I'm telling you, because I'm also a professor here, so I've graded a lot of papers, right? You see students they'll write a topic sentence like this, right? Violent video games are psychologically toxic because they lead to aggressive behaviors.
That's the
But
topic.
then when they are writing the sentences or the statements in the paragraph, the only thing they are discussing is this part.
Mm,
And then you forget this part.
that's what I did.
So, Professor,
I
Yeah.
didn't forget none of that. It's just how I wrote it.
All right, let's go one after so let's start with Sharon. You had a question. Someone said professor.
I'm sorry, I caught myself. So our session tonight is how to make a sentence flow.
Mhm.
So is that where we sometimes get off track? Just
Yes.
like when she I'm sorry,
Patricia.
Patricia was writing when she said this situation, instead of her staying with the subject, she put this situation.
Yeah,
Yes, that is where sometimes, that's where we sway off, especially when we are not specific. We have to be you have to be as specific at all times. And then another like I mentioned, another aspect where we can sway off is where even as students, trust me, this happens a lot. I'm telling you, students would write a topic sentence as long as this, so correct, so persuasive, right? But then in their paragraph, they're only discussing that, or they're only describing that violent video games are psychologically toxic. But they're not describing that violent video games are psychologically toxic because it leads to aggressive behaviors.
Okay. All right.
Oh, yes, you must send us this.
Some bells are clicking now.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. And
Right?
I had to do
Thank
it
you.
3 or 4 times before I kind of
Yeah.
got it.
It's fine, totally fine. Right. So let's scroll down. Let's look at something. Let's look at, so I know many of you must have seen that paragraph before. I always use that paragraph most of the time. So let's look at this first paragraph. Right? The student that wrote this outline here developed the paragraph for the outline.
Okay.
I think it was Faye that was saying it, right? Faye was, I think it was Faye that was saying that this outline is what will help to develop the paragraph itself. Now that we have our topic sentence, we have our subpoints. And now we know that our subpoints connects to the topic sentence. It's not going outside the topic sentence. The 2 subpoints are not going outside the topic sentence. So, or the 3 subpoints, right? So, one thing we have to do is that we have to construct a paragraph based on this outline. Now, for some students, they even always go all the way to say, you know what, for each subpoint, I'll provide an evidence, right? Like your research, provide evidence for each subpoint, provide evidence. All right, you just write it there. So that's it for each subpoint. Now, look at this first one, right? It says the topic sentence. So this is not this is supposed to be topic sentence, right? So it says topic sentence, violent video games should be minimally played among young adults because they desensitize users to realistic violence. Can you see this topic sentence?
Yes.
Right? And it says, so let's look at it. The first sentence in your body paragraph is called what?
The introduction.
So the first sentence in your body
Oh, the
paragraph.
topic.
Topic sentence, right? Yeah, I was just a trick question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called the topic sentence. And
Topic.
now I want you to note that it could also, it's supposed to be it could be either the first or second sentence in the paragraph. Right? So it's not compulsory that your topic sentence is in the first line of your paragraph. Right? So it could be the first or second sentence in your paragraph. But then this student here has a topic sentence. It says, although violent video games limit harmful actions to virtual media, they can potentially desensitize users to realistic violence. Right? So that's the topic sentence right there. Now, let's go back up. I want you to know also that you have the freedom, everyone, you have the freedom to reword your topic sentence. It doesn't have to sound like your thesis.
Okay.
Right? So that was what, and always do that. Try as much as possible to always do that. Right? Feel free to reword your topic sentences, right? So as you can see here, this student has reworded it. It says, although violent video games limit harmful actions to virtual media, they can potentially desensitize users to realistic violence. So, sorry, let's use this instead. This is another. So, although violent video games limit harmful actions to virtual media, they can potentially desensitize users to realistic violence, right? So that's the topic sentence right there. Right? So that's the topic sentence. As you can see. in this case, sorry, I'm making a mistake. No, I'm supposed to, let's use this. I'm so sorry. So desensitization, look at this. Desensitization means that users of violent video games express less arousal or stimuli to realistic violence compared to non-violent video game users. Does this, so I'm going to ask you, does this sentence connect to the topic sentence? Yes, Faye said yes. Right? Does it? Do we all agree with Faye?
I'm a slow reader.
Yeah.
I agree.
It does, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
So, I'm coming. Let me take this away. Right? In describing the state of desensitization among violent gamers, Araga et al. States, right? So the definition, this student defines or makes an assertion and then provides what? Evidence for that assertion, right? From provides evidence from an external source, right? So users who constantly engage in violent video games express less physiological stimuli to real violence, right? So let's look at this.
Mm.
And then it says this. This sort of desensitization could lead to stiffening or unquickened response to realistic situations.
Okay.
So what do you think, does that connect to the topic sentence? No, let me just put this topic sentence by the side here so that we can all see it.
They can desensitize users to realistic violence. And what was the highlighted?
Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So look at this. This is the topic sentence on the right, right? So I'm just putting it on the right so you all can see it. Topic sentence.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's related.
Does it connect?
Yes.
Right? Yes, we all agree. I agree, right?
Yes.
This sort of desensitization leads to stiffening unquickened response to realistic situation. Then the student provides what? What's this? Evidence. Good.
Evidence.
Right?
Mhm.
So let's look at this. Those, sorry.
Yeah, hints.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just going to take that off for now. Okay. Those who play violent games might have trouble in immediately defining and responding to realistic violent situation. Now, this desensitization can be showcased in the form of reduced empathy for victims of violence.
Yes.
So far, it's all on the same page.
Right? It connects, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good. But then you see that this student started a new paragraph here. Can you see? Do you all notice that?
Yes, I see it.
A new paragraph starts here. Now, for some of you, you might say, you know what? I don't want my paragraph to be too lengthy, right? I want to discuss so some of you might say, I want to discuss so many ideas under one topic sentence. But I don't want my paragraph to be so lengthy. So one thing you can always do is that you can always cut your paragraphs, right? You can cut your paragraphs at the point of a subtopic.
Okay.
So let's go back to our outline, right? So, you have three sub points here, right? And you'll see it, we have 3 sub points. So for some of you, you might say, you know what, when I get to this 3rd sub point, I want to start a new paragraph. Right? And that's totally fine. The only rule is that you don't start a new paragraph with a quote or with evidence, right? So don't do that. So you can start a new paragraph here. All right, if that's what you want. For some of you might say, you know what, I want it as lengthy as possible, right? That's still fine. Right? Depending, huh?
Isn't there a rule to how long a paragraph should be?
So that's a very good question. Who asked that question?
Sharon.
Sharon, good question. So the thing is this, right? Your paragraph can contain as many sentences as possible.
Hmm.
The only rule for a paragraph is that the paragraph should only be discussing one what?
Topic.
One
One
subject,
topic.
One topic sentence.
one
Yeah.
topic.
Or one
One
main point.
topic. Yeah.
Right? That's the rule.
Oh.
So it can be as long as it want, long as
As
it's.
long as you want, yes. But again, the only reason why students will cut their paragraphs, right, or divide their paragraph is for, let's say, aesthetics, right? You just want
Yeah.
to cut it off, like, because again, you don't just want your paragraph to be all lengthy, like one page is a whole paragraph, you know. So, yeah. So
But
that's
isn't it, I'm sorry.
no, go on.
Isn't it good though, because if you chose it with another type of paragraph, because sometimes the professor do want that. Sometimes the type of character that your paragraph carries the title, like they have the organically one that is pretty lengthy. For something like that, like this would be good. This would
Yeah.
be good because that is if they ever ask for that type of paragraph, this is perfect.
Yes, you're so correct, especially for for graduate students like Faye. Honestly, most professors, when you're writing your research, your professors would expect lengthy paragraphs,
Oh.
right? I'm sure many of you must have read articles, right? Peer-reviewed articles. You see that most of them, their paragraphs are so lengthy.
Well, I'm an undergrad, and we've already been through this, and I just started, and we've been through. That's how I know to talk about it, because we've been through this and we've done it a few times.
Yeah. So that's it, right, everyone? That's it. So the student here starts a new paragraph from a subtopic. This desensitization can be showcased in form of reduced empathy for victims of violence.
Okay.
Right. So, and then provides evidence, right? Explains the evidence, and then says here, male users who play sexually violent games inadequately empathize with female violent victims because they ended up adopting the masculine character's point of view more easily.
That's terrible.
Right? With this lack of empathy, violent video game users lack the sufficient psychological ability to be aware and present to the emotional and physical needs of violent victims. Right? So that's how I just end the paragraph, right? Just end it with a concluding statement that summarizes all your points. Now that we've done this, I forgot to ask you all, right? There is this sentence. Let's look at this sentence right here. Even though the sentence is embedded in evidence, right? Do you guys think it's connected to the topic sentence? Right?
It speaks of there's desensitized to somebody's emotional needs. Yeah, desensitized. I think it connects.
It connects. Okay. Any other person? Look at that sentence, the sentence I highlighted right there.
Adapting the masculine character's point of view. Victim. Say yes.
I don't know. I feel like I'm having some doubts.
That's good.
I do. It's just going another way, and it's for a whole nother entity of
Another topic.
yes.
Yeah.
Because it's for one thing, it's talking about the male character, and the
Yes.
female. So that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think it does, because the topic sentence says this desensitization can be showcased in the form of reduced empathy for victims of violence.
Of violence. But then this sentence says,
Sorry.
adapting the masculine character's point of view more easily.
Mm-hmm.
Actually inadequately emphasize.
Mm-hmm.
Troubles
Empathize.
me.
I
Yes.
just
We're
feel like it's
talking
off
about
That
topic.
means that there's less sensitivity
Mm-hmm.
to
I just
what
feel like
another
it's off
person's
topic.
need.
Okay, so let's look at this, right? I'll say that I would, well, for some of you would say, some of you would say it's off topic, right? Honestly, you're correct. For some of you, you say it's on topic, like it's on topic. You're
Okay.
also correct,
Oh, okay.
right?
Okay.
Remember, the rule
Why?
is
Because
this.
it relates.
Yeah, if you feel like it's off topic, right? You're like, oh, this is talking about male users. It's so singly, there's that single focus on male users, and there's that single focus on sexually violent games, of which what we are talking about is violent video games, not sexually violent games, right? For
Right.
some of you are like, it doesn't connect. That's still correct. But for someone like me, I'll say it connects because I see some keywords here. Words
Yeah.
like empathize, right? Empathize
That's
connects
the
to the
word I
idea
picked
of,
up.
yes, desensitize, right?
Mhm.
Words like ended up adopting the, yeah, words like empathize.
Yeah, that's the
Right,
word I
that's
picked
it.
up. Yeah.
And
How
Yeah.
about violence?
violence victim.
Violence, yeah. So, yes, correct.
So
I-
if it relates,
Yes, it relates.
then it could be a go for.
Yes, it could
Because I
be a
kind
go.
of felt the other way too, but when I saw the word that I struggle with pronouncing and violence, I made the connection to desensitive, the other word.
Yes, right. Yeah. So that's it, everyone. Good job, everyone. Good job.
Thank you.
So that's it. So that's how you want to ensure that your work achieves unity.
Mm.
It's as simple as that. The core is this. The first plan you must have is to provide words. If you want to achieve unity, what should be your first goal?
Get a topic.
Get a topic. Good job. Yeah. You want to get a topic. You want to get your topic sentence right.
Right.
That's all you want to do. Nothing else. Once you get that topic sentence, what's the next thing? I have my
Your
topic.
thesis.
Huh?
Are we still talking about the paragraph?
Yes.
The thesis.
No. Like I said, if you want to achieve unity, your
You
first goal should be staying on topic. Correct. Right?
Yeah, stay on. Yes.
Yes. Stay on topic.
I'm reading. I'm going past you. I'm sorry.
It's all right. Yeah, you want to stay on topic. That's the next thing.
Yes.
All right. So now let's go back to our. So now, can you see we actually did everything? We actually took all of these steps. We created a thesis statement. We have our outline that focused only on the thesis statement. And then we created body paragraphs that contained what? Topic sentence, subtopics, and evidence that only supports the topic sentence.
Yes.
So that's all you want to do. Now, I'm so sorry, I have to go back. There's something I didn't talk about. We didn't talk about the last aspect, providing evidence that only supports the topic sentence or subtopic. All right. So let's look at this. Now, desensitization means, okay, let's just pick one random one. All right, let's look at this. This sort of desensitization could lead to stiffing or unquickened response to realistic situation. Now, if you notice that this evidence here, right, this is only supporting the subtopic. Or I'll say that this evidence properly or accurately supports the subtopic or the sentence before it, right? The sentence here is saying that, oh, this sort of desensitization leads to stiffened or quickened response to realistic situations. And then the evidence provided supports that statement, saying that Bushman illustrates that participants who played the violent video games took significantly longer to help, over 450% longer than participants who played non-violent games.
Oh, yeah, I read that.
Do you see that?
Mhm.
So we are saying here that people who play these violent games, right, it takes too long for them to react. It's not like they don't react, but it takes too long for them to react to realistic violent situations.
Wow.
And then the evidence that I provided here proves it.
Yeah,
The
that's pretty.
Bushman illustrated that participants who played a violent game took significantly longer, right? That's the key word right there. That supports the statement.
Yes.
Right? Do you see it? So let's look for another one. I'm coming. Okay, look at this. This desensitization can be showcased in a form of reduced empathy for victims of violence. Now look at the evidence. Can someone tell me what's the key word that shows that the evidence connects or supports this statement? What's the key word in the evidence? So what keyword do you think?
Would it be victim, perpetrator?
So if the video game is a third person, players control the actions of violent character from a more distant visual perspective, because they are forced to adopt the visual perspective of the perpetrator. It's difficult for players to put themselves in the shoes of the victim. So what statement, what phrase connects to this?
If the video game is third person, player control the actions of the violent character.
Okay, that could be one.
I say
right?
a distant visual perspective.
Distant visual perspective, all right. But what else? There's something that actually connects here.
Yeah.
Well, you all are correct, but there's something else.
Difficult for players to put themselves in the shoes of the victim.
Good job. Yes, difficult for players to put themselves in the shoes of the victim. Reduce empathy.
Okay.
Oh, for victims of violence. I see
Yes,
that.
you see that reduced empathy, putting yourself in the shoes.
Yes.
Right. So my point is that you must make sure that you must ensure that your evidence unifies with whatever point you're making in the paragraph.
Okay.
That's interesting. This is an interesting topic. Is this based on actual fact?
Oh no, this is a big argument, right? I want you to know that it's not this is a big argument, right? There's so much research about this topic, right? That I'm telling you, there's some research you read that after you read those research, you think everything that is written here is wrong. So yeah, there's so many, it's a big argument, it's a contention today, right, in our world. Because then I read another research that states that people who play violent video games actually quick to react to violence.
You what?
Somebody needs to mute themselves.
Someone needs to mute, please.
They actually do what? What was that last statement you made?
One second, I'm sorry. Thank you. So like, this is what I'm saying, right? There are some research that actually shows that people who play violent video games are even quick to react to realistic violent situations. Right? So it's a huge contention today. It's a big argument, right?
Yeah.
So yes. I'm coming. So that was my point. So the main thing is just make sure that whatever evidence you use in your body paragraph connects to your subtopics or to your topic, right? Now let's go to the next part, coherence, right? How do you achieve coherence? The best way, like I said, to achieve coherence is to use what? Transition words.
Transition words.
That's it. That's the only way, honestly. You want to ensure that, so basically what we at unity make sure, so to achieve unity, the goal is to make sure that every sentence in the paragraph connects to the topic sentence. But to achieve coherence, you want to make sure that every sentence in the paragraph connects with each other, right? So unity is, you're trying to make sure the sentences connect to the topic sentence, right? Like what we just did. But
Yes.
coherence is that you want to make sure that the sentences in the paragraph connects with each other.
I have a question for you.
One.
In writing and
Yes.
learning all the rules, does it really get better as time go by?
Yes.
Or do new rules just keep coming? What happens?
That's a very good point. That's a very good question. So the first thing you have to understand is that there are different genres of writing.
Yes.
Right? So what you're doing right now is academic writing. And honestly, for years, like even since the time of Aristotle, the rule has never changed.
Okay.
Right? I think one of, like, Aristotle is like the person that actually helped to, I'll say his work is the foundation for academic writing.
Okay.
Right? So it has never changed. It's the same rule in academic writing. You want to arrange your work in paragraphs. Yeah?
So as time go by, you do this, it just gets better.
Yeah, it gets better.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
you're correct. You're correct, Jacqueline. The more you practice it, the more you get better at it. The more you write, the more you get better with writing. And one thing is this, right? You have to also understand that in academics, writing is a conversation. So to get better, you have to make sure that your work is being reviewed. So you cannot, so a student cannot say, I'm a good writer until they have had their work reviewed by different professors or different experts in their field, right? So you have to make sure that you're not just writing in isolation. You are also, submitting your work for review.
Yes.
Right? So that's one thing you have to do. So yeah, as time goes on, you get better. Very, very true. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And you're in the best environment to get better because, right, every assignment you write gets submitted, right? Every paper you write gets submitted.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're in the best environment. So it's going to get better the more you practice. Yeah.
Thank you again.
Yes. All right. So now use transition words. That's the only way to connect your sentences within a paragraph. That does not mean that you should use transition words before every sentence, right? You don't have to do that. So I'll say that use transition words when you are starting a new subtopic.
Okay.
Can you remember we talked about subtopic? I'll just say you should do that, right? Let me check something quick. No. So let's look at examples of transition words. So these are examples of transition words right here, right? So, so like you can see this addition or sequence, right? Afterwards, again, also then, there's transition words for comparison, there's transition word for consequence, for contrast, for emphasis, for exception, for generalization, illustration, location, passing of time. There are just so many use of transition words. right? And examples. So for addition, you can see the word after, afterwards, again, also, and then. Now, one thing I would say you should do is this. You don't have to, honestly, you don't have to like just, learn all of these transition words. I would advise that you just have something like this on your table when you are writing your essays, right? Just print out something like this and have it on your table or have it on your study desk, right? That's what you want to do. The goal is not to like just cram all of this. No, you don't have to, right? So these are examples of transition words right here. So why do we use transition words? That's the question we should be asking ourselves, right? So the thing is this, therefore, writers need to consider that each sentence in the paragraph purposefully contributes to the topic sentence. Now, every sentence in your body paragraph purposefully contributes to your topic sentence. There is a purpose for every sentence in your paragraph. And why is that? That's because for some of you who would be using the same format that we used earlier, right? Using those 5 opportunities, right? Opportunities to illustrate examples, right? For some of you who would be having subtopics, you have to note that each of your subtopics should illustrate a particular unique purpose that connects to your topic sentence.
Okay.
Right? So again, just goes down to the point that every sentence in your body paragraph have a purpose. Every sentence in your body paragraph has a purpose. So let's go back to the example that we had earlier, right? Okay, let's look at this. So we had this. This was the essay. Let me just say we all constructed this essay, right? This was an essay that we all constructed.
Okay.
And it says here, although violent video games limit harmful actions to violent media, they can potentially desensitize users to realistic violence. Desensitization means that users of violent video games express less arousal or stimuli to realistic violence compared to non-violent video game users. Now, looking at this statement right here, one thing I want to do is that I know that this is a subtopic right here, right? Because it's a subtopic because I am defining, right? If you all remember, oops, sorry. I don't know if you all remember this.
Yes.
Right? If you all remember, so what I did here, I chose to define unique term, right? Desensitization means that users of violent video games express less arousal or stimuli to realistic violence compared to non-violent game users. Now, since I'm defining unique terms, right? A unique term, right? What unique term am I defining here? Can someone help me? What term am I defining here?
Desensitization?
Yes, correct. Yes, desensitization, right? So I can start a transition word I can just start with, in that case. All right, sorry, please. I can just say, and in that case, right? That's a transition word right there. In that case, desensitization, right? Remember, after your transition words or your transition phrase, you must insert a comma, right? You must always have a comma. In that case, desensitization means that users of violent video games express less arousal or stimuli to realistic violence compared to non-violent video game users. Right? And then I provided what? My evidence. Right? And one of the rule for thumb is this, right? I want you all to note this, even though it's not connected to what we are discussing today. When you are indicating evidence or providing evidence, you must introduce your evidence, right? You must cite your evidence and you must explain your evidence, right? It's called the ICE method. Introduce your evidence, right? Cite your evidence and explain your evidence. All right. So now, after I was done with that, right? So I explained the evidence. Users who constantly engage in violent games express less physiological stimuli to real violence. And then I start a new sentence or a new line of thought. So again, the idea is that you must use a transition word when indicating a new line of thought, right? And that's the way you connect each sentences in the paragraph. So let's look at it. So it says this sort of desensitization could lead to a stiffening or quickening response to realistic violence. Now, can someone tell me, looking at this sentence, what parameter here do you think, what parameter did I choose to construct this new subtopic here? Can someone tell me? Look at this.
You have number 2, seeking opportunities to discuss. Where was it? It so said something about.
Let's use this. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I quickly changed that. I'm so sorry. Oh, it's here. No, let's just go back. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's look at it again. Let's look at it again, right? It says this. This sort of desensitization could lead to stiffening or quickening response to realistic.
Seeking opportunity to discuss, seeking opportunity to discuss procedures of a situation. How does this happen?
Okay, it's discussing how, but look at it again. This sort of desensitization could lead to a stiffening or quickening response to realistic situations.
Would it be seeking opportunities to define unique terms using, no?
Look at it, lead to, when you say something is leading to something.
Okay.
Discuss the effects of a situation,
yes,
argument, or condition using evidence as to why.
Yes, right? This sort of desensitization could lead to saying the effect, right? Could lead to, yes. So that's the, so now we want to now add, what you want to do is that now, you know that the purpose of this subtopic is to indicate effect, the effect of the issue, right? Now you want to find the transition words that represents effect, right? So if you come back here, right? So you can just check what I would do, right? If I were writing this essay, this is what I would do. Even though I know a lot of transition words in my head, right? I have a lot of them in my head, but normally this is what I'll do, right? I can just come to this list and then scroll effects, something that shows effects, right? We can say consequence, right? Effects, consequence means effect, right? So look at this. What word would you use there? Which of this transition word would you choose? Faith.
As a result.
As a result. Good job. Good job. Right? So here you can now say, right, this is where we are. Right? You can say, as a result right? Do you see it? As a result, right? Small letter. As a result, comma, this sort of desensitization could lead to stiffening or quickening response to realistic situations. Then we provide evidence, we explain the evidence, right? And then this student decided to start a new paragraph. But let's imagine a new paragraph did not start, right? And then this is a new sentence right here. It says, this is a new subtopic. It says, this desensitization can be showcased in form of reduced empathy for victims of violence. Can someone tell me what opportunity or what parameter did this student use here? Before indicating this subtopic, what parameter was chosen? Anybody? Anyone?
Number one,
No, it's not number one. It's not defining unique terms.
I shouldn't have just blurted it out.
Anyone?
Sorry, class.
Why?
Four.
Four?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, correct. That's procedure. Good job. Seeking opportunities to discuss procedures of a situation, argument, or condition. So it can be showcased in form of reduced empathy for victims of violence. And for some people might say it's number 5. It could be an example, right? This desensitization can be showcased, like how is this manifested? But then it's ultimately number 4, procedure. So can someone help us? Looking at this sentence right here, what transition word would you use?
For example.
Oh, yeah, you can use for example. I like that. Example, this desensitization can be showcased in form of reduced empathy for victims of violence. Right? And then
you use conjunctions like moreover or furthermore, in addition to.
Yeah, you can do that. You can use moreover, for example, if you want. For example, you can use in addition because you are just adding more points, right? In addition. Yeah, as many as you want to. Right? There are many examples you can use here. All right. So now let's look at this. Let's look at this. So there's evidence. So provides evidence here. So look at this part. It says male users who play sexually violent games inadequately empathize with female violence victims because they ended up adopting the point of view more easily. So look at these sentences. What would you how would you actually, what transition word would you use here? So you have to think of the parameter. What parameter do you think the students use here?
Ultimately, male users who play
Yeah,
sexually violent games.
Yeah,
inadequately empathize.
Yes, you're correct. But what parameter did these students use here?
Would you repeat that, please?
What parameter? Like what? Which
5, seeking opportunities to illustrate examples of a situation, argument, or condition.
Correct. You are correct. Yes. Right. You're so correct. Right. Do you all agree with that? Was that an example?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can say, so you said ultimately. All right. I like that. Or you could say, so if it's an example, all right, you can go back here and just look for, okay, Okay, exemplification, right? No, yeah, or illustration, example, illustration. So you can say as an example, as an illustration, for example, for instance, for one thing, in another case, in fact, in this case, in this situation, on this occasion, right? Specifically, right? That's something you can use right there. Let's look at this. So that's it, right? So again, call me, sorry, please. I don't know why this is happening. Okay, so we have that. So you're correct. Ultimately, you can say ultimately, for instance, right? You can say for instance. What else can we say? Someone else? Can someone give me an example we can use? Anyone?
Where are we at again? I'm sorry, I got distracted.
Oh, right here. Sorry. Like for the examples.
Okay.
Ultimately for existence. Yeah, ultimately.
So this is good.
In this case.
In this case, yes. In this case, we can use that, right? Again, you don't have to like just memorize this. Right, one thing you can always do, everyone, is just make sure you print out a list of transition words you could always use. All right. So I'm going to send you that. I'm going to send you that PDF file that I just showed just now. So that's it. Right. And again, even to end the paragraph, to conclude the paragraph, what transition word can I use? Just to conclude the paragraph. So look at this. With this lack of empathy, violent video game users lack sufficient physiological ability to be aware and present to the emotional and physical needs of violent victims.
However, could you say, however, with this lack of empathy?
No, you can't say however. However is to show contrast. However is to show difference.
I was thinking because, but can you start a sentence with because?
No.
Yeah.
you can actually start a sentence with because if you are writing a complex sentence. Right? So look at this. Because they are forced to adopt the visual perspective of the perpetrator, it is difficult for players to put themselves in the shoes of the victim. You can do that, but one thing you have to note is that because is not a transition word.
Right. Okay.
What about having said that?
Yeah, having said that. Yeah, having said.
Or as a result.
Yeah, you can also use as a result again.
Transition word for finally.
That or finally, or you can say finally, or you can say finally.
In conclusion.
You can't say in conclusion to end a paragraph. Use in conclusion to start your conclusion paragraph. Yes. Yeah, so having said that, finally, you can say overall, someone said as a result, all right, you can say that. And you could also say hence, right? Hence is a good one.
Okay. Hence.
Right?
Okay.
So that's something that's one way to, yeah. Yeah, so that's it.
Lord. Okay, so you have stuff here,
Yeah, so that's it, everyone. Good job, everyone. Good job. So that's it. So the basic thing is this. You want to make your sentences, if you want to make sentences in your paragraph flow, use transition words. But the thing is this, your transition word, the use of transition words is ineffective. It's ineffective if all the sentences in your paragraph is not discussing one main point. Do you get it? Right? Like your use of transition word would be useless. Honestly, let me just use that word. Your use of transition words would be useless if all the sentences in your paragraph are not discussing the topic sentence, or if they are going off topic.
Okay.
Right? If you're going off topic, trust me, your transition words will not work well.
Right.
Yeah. So let's just do just one more practice and then we'll call it a day. Give me 1 second. All right, let's look at this transition word exercise. Right? Let's do this. It says this, right? Have you ever started a workout program and after a few weeks stopped doing it? Right? There are several steps that you can take to stay motivated, right? So let's just look at this paragraph. Where can someone tell me, right? Not someone, just tell me, read it to yourself, right? Just read it on your own and then think of where you would add a transition word and think of the particular transition word you add to this paragraph. So read the paragraph on your own and just think of what transition word you would love to add to this paragraph and where you would add it. All right, so there are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 sentences here. So in the chat box, just tell me the sentence number, right? You can just say sentence 9, comma, however. Maybe you want to add however to sentence 9, to the 9th sentence, all right? Or sentence 2, you can just say sentence 2, or you want to add also. All right. Thirty more seconds, everyone. All right, let's do this. Are we all done? Have you typed your answer in the chat box? Okay, 9. Jem, you say 9, therefore. A little self-indulgence is a good motivator, so reward yourself. All right, therefore. All right. 4, in addition. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. You could try swimming. Good. All right, so let's do this together. Have you ever started a workout program and after a few weeks stopped doing it? There are several steps that you can take to stay motivated. I don't need to add a transition word to the second sentence. I can say, it says here, try activities that you like to do. So I can say first. Because look at the previous sentence. The previous sentence says there are several steps that you can take. So the first step, try activities that you like to do. If you hate exercising on machines, you could try swimming, right? Someone said, in addition, right? That's a good one. You could say in addition, or I'll say however, depending on how you interpret it. However, because I'm saying however, no, in addition works. Yes, in addition, or you could say also.
Okay.
All right. Also, if you hate exercising on machines, you could try swimming. Schedule your exercise activities in advance. All right. And so you could also say more so. All right. More so, schedule the activity, your exercise activities in advance. Choose a time and plan for other activities around your workout, right? Participate in a variety of exercises. So should I add a transition word here or not? Participate in a variety of exercises.
No.
No, right? It's not necessary. If you keep doing the same activity all the time, you get bored and lose your motivation. Finally, promise yourself a little treat after you have completed your workout. A little self-indulgence is a good motivator, so reward yourself. That's good. Yeah, and someone said, therefore, right? I don't think therefore is a good one, right? Because you don't need to put a transition word here, right? The transition word is already here, finally, right? Finally, promise yourself a little treat after you have completed your workout. A little indulgence is a good motivator, so reward yourself. That's good. All right, let's look at this one. All right, no, we don't have to look at that, all right? But I hope you all just get the main point of this session, right? About unity and coherence, right? So
Yes.
the first thing you have to also note is the other thing you have to also note is this, right? It's very important that you practice all the things you've learned, right? Like Jacqueline asked earlier, like, if we would get better as we go on. So what we need to note is this, right? Just try as much as possible to practice all you've learned. Now, 3 things you have to understand. These are my final thoughts, right? A thesis statement gives purpose to an essay. A topic sentence gives purpose to a paragraph. A transition word gives purpose to a sentence. A thesis statement gives purpose to an essay. A topic sentence gives purpose to a paragraph. And a transition word gives purpose to a sentence.
And where does your thesis statement come in at? Does it come in after your introduction?
It's always in the introduction.
In the introduction, the first line of the introduction?
The last sentence in the introduction.
The last sentence. Okay.
Yes.
Got it mixed up. Okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
Thank you.
Those are good questions. Yes. All
Thank
right. So you must always have a thesis statement. You must always have your topic sentence, and you must always try as much as possible to incorporate transition words. All right. So that's it. All right, everyone. Any final questions before we call it a day?
I just want to know.
Thank you.
Are we gonna get everything that we went over tonight to our
Yes.
emails?
Yes, you're gonna get it, including the video. You're gonna get it.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for all. I'm grateful.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome. Yes.
Thank you, Golden. You've been great as normal.
Oh, thank you, Sharon. Yes.
Thank you.
All right. You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Golden.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yes. Great job.
Will you be the one doing this, like other through other terms, and will you be the one that will be going through this with? Will it be you?
Yes, but there are other consultants too, other writing consultants that conduct workshops like this. Yeah, but then I'll be every month. I always conduct 2 workshops every month. So yeah.
Well, I want to be in your next one.
Yeah, so you're gonna get an email, like just the same way you heard about this workshop, right? It's the same way you hear about the upcoming workshops. You get emails.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank
I like the way you teach. I like that. So
Mm.
definitely I want to be under you when we get it going forward.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Thank you for that. Yes, like,
You're
Yes,
yeah.
he is the
very
bomb.
thorough. Yeah, he's very thorough. I love it. I love it.
You're welcome. Yes, you're welcome. All right, everyone. Have a good one. Thank you,
All
Jacqueline.
right.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Right.
Good
Good night,
night.
everybody. Good night.